Okay, I wanted to make a video on young Dumeril's boas or baby Dumeril's boas and how to set them up and get them started, get them eating. I don't get too many questions about Dumeril's boas. They're not as commonly kept as ball pythons, but the few questions that I do get are typically, my Dumeril's boa won't eat. And the first thing I always ask is, did you give them a burrowing substrate? And 9 times out of 10 they say no. They're on newspaper or things like that. Well, one thing you gotta know about these boas is they love to burrow, and if they can't, at least with the young ones, if they can't submerge their whole body, you're gonna have a tough time getting them to eat. So here's one of the hatchlings. I've already got 2 of them feeding, and that's just because feeding day happened to be 2 days after they were born, and I wanted to see if I could get them to eat, and 2 of them happened to do so. So here's the deal. I keep them on aspen bedding. It's my preferred substrate because, cypress mulch and other mulches, they're a heavier substrate, so they're not as loosely packed and easy to move around like the aspen bedding is. So what I do is hard to do with a snake in my hand, but I like to keep the substrate, and if you look at that, it's almost halfway to my second knuckle. So you're talking about I don't know, about an inch and a half deep on that. And one thing you have to watch with the aspen is if it gets too wet or ends up in the water dish, it'll produce mold fairly quickly. But so that's the setup on these little guys. If you see, he's going in right away. You look at that. He goes in straight away. And what you'll notice is they'll tell you when they're ready to eat, and you'll see them burrow in like that, and their head will pop out. Their head will be just barely exposed, and that's them in hunting mode. And it's similar to what do you call them damn things? The death adder. The death adder kind of sets up that way, where the tail is exposed by the head, and they wriggle the tail, and you'll see that from time to time in these little babies too. They'll put the tail by the head and they'll wriggle the tail, trying to lure in lizards or whatever. And a lot of times what you'll see is the head will come out near that entry point. So you see him going in, there's the hole, there's his tail. A lot of times you'll see the head come out to the left or the right of that tail. And that's how they'll set up and get ready to eat. Let's look at one that might be in what I'll call predation mode. Here's one of the little guys that already ate for me. As you can see, they completely bury themselves. And it looks like his head is right there. I know this isn't the best camera for this, but he might even come out and surprise me. We'll see if there's anybody set up a little better. No, there you can see his little entry point. That's 9 times out of 10 where the head is at. They circle back around. So this may not be the most exciting video I've ever shot, but we'll check on 2 more, and then There's another entry point. Yeah, his head's down in there. I don't know if you can see that or not. And nobody wants to play today, so that's about it. Don't really have anything else to show, so I don't want to get into the ball pythons. I know everybody loves the ball pythons, but I love Dumeril's boas. I'll have them forever. Absolutely my favorite. See you later.